Good morning, girls. In the previous session of sequence, we learned what is sequence. Let me tell you in brief. The sequence is an object that generates numeric values. It is an independent object and can be used with any table that require auto number field. Auto number field means primary key field. Usually the sequence is used to enter the data in a primary key column of any table, which can maintain a unique values. Here on the screen you can see the syntax of sequence. Create sequence, these are the keywords. Then you have to specify the name of sequence, and the sequence command has some parameters. They all are optional. The first one is increment by, second is start with, third one is max value, fourth one is mean value, fifth one is cycle or no cycle. One more left, that is sketch. We have already covered the meaning of these parameters in the previous session, right? So let us begin with the example. We have already gone through these examples 13, 14 and 15. Even the 16, example number 16 is also covered. So let us start with example number 17. Here I want to create a sequence with name employee ID 5. Start with 10. Increment by -2. I want to set the minimum value for this sequence is 1 and the maximum value is 10. Here you can see the message. Let us find the next value of the sequence using nextval command, nextval function. The name of sequence is emp_id5, emp_id5 dot nextval from dual. Okay, the next value of this cycle is 8. How we can check the next value of the sequence? For that, let us insert a 1 value through this sequence in employee table. Then only we will come to know that what is the next value generated by this sequence, right? Right, 8 is inserted and the next value of the sequence is 6. Repeat the query one more time. And we got the error message. Sequence emp_id5 dot nextval goes below minimum value and cannot be instantiated. Why we got this error message? Because here we set the minimum value is 1. So it cannot create a cycle because here we have not set the parameter cycle, right? Next example is how to drop a sequence. For dropping a sequence, we have to use drop command with our sequence name. Drop sequence and then you have to specify the name of sequence which you want to drop. Like here, drop sequence employee ID sequence is dropped. Let us drop one more sequence. Drop sequence emp underscore id 5 sequence is dropped. So it is very easy to drop the sequence. Let us take one more example of sequence. You need a sequence that can be used with the primary key column of the department table. The sequence should start at 200 and have a maximum value of 1000. Have your sequence increment by 10 and give the name to the sequence department underscore id underscore seq. For creating the sequence, let us write the query. Create sequence department underscore id underscore seq. This is a name of our current sequence. Then what is the condition given? It should start at 200. So for that we will write start with 200. The maximum value through this sequence we want to generate through this sequence is 1000, right? For that we will write max value 1000, which must be increment by 10. So we will write increment by 10. Let us execute the sequence. Sequence with name department ID seq is created. Okay. In example number 21, to test your sequence, write a script to insert 2 rows in department table. Be sure to use the sequence that you created for ID column. Add 2 departments, education and administration, and confirm your additions. Run the command in your scripts. Last 2 examples are in continuation, right? After executing this command, you will be able to perform this one also. So let us create a department table first, which has 2 columns only, namely ID and name. Create table department 11. The table with DEPT name is already exist. That's why I am taking a different name for this table. Okay, so here department 11 is created by this query. What is next? Write a script to insert 2 rows. Here what we have to do is insert 2 rows in newly created table. So we'll write insert into department 11 values department ID sequence dot nextwell. Instead of passing a static value, we will use department ID sequence for our first value, right? Here in the instruction you can see that you have to add 2 departments, education and administration, through this sequence. So this is our first record. Insert into dpt11 values into bracket. We'll specify the name of sequence dpt underscore id underscore seq is the name of the sequence, and we will use nextWell function for getting current value of sequence nextWell, and then second value for second column is education Same way, we'll insert one more record in this table. Insert into department 11. Values are what we will write over here: department underscore id underscore seq dot nextWell for getting the next value of the sequence, right? And the department name is administration. That's it. Okay, let us select all the records of department table by executing this query. Select star from dpt 11. Here you can observe the id column which is generated through this sequence, right? We got the value 200 and 210. Why this value is incremented by 10? Because here what we have taken increment by 10, right? So our first value is 200, which is increment by 10. Let us move to the next example. In this example, what we have to do is modify the sequence given in above query so that the maximum value changes to 1500 instead of 1000. Here we want to alter the sequence, means we have to do some changes in our existing sequence. Here the max value is set to 1000. We want to change this value, we want to modify this value. So for that we will use alter table command, alter sequence command. Alter sequence department underscore id, max value is 1500. So here we will write alter sequence department id seq. Which parameter do you want to change? Max value. What you want to set for this parameter? That is 1500. Sequence is altered. Okay, this way you can change or modify your existing sequence. One more example is shown over here. Modify the sequence given in example number 20 so that increment value changes to 20 instead of 10. For that we will use the same command, alter sequence command, right? But this time we will change our parameter. Instead of writing max value, you can replace this word with increment by value, right? Alter sequence department id, increment by 20. whatever you want to set, whatever new value you want to set, just replace the old value with new value. Again we got the message sequence altered. That means we modified the value. At the end of this object, at the end of this topic, let us drop the sequence department ID sequence, right? So that let us execute this command, drop command. Drop sequence department underscore ID underscore SEQ and semicolon and press enter. So in this session, what we learned, what we have covered: how to create a sequence, how we can use the sequence for inserting a value in our table, how we can see the next value generated by the sequence, how we can alter or modify an existing sequence, and how to drop the sequence. So this is all about sequence. Okay, you can take the help of reference book of Oracle, that is Ivan Barros. Fine, you will get some more example through that book also. I think this content is enough for today. So thank you.